Alright, good morning everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site for legacy, death, and taxes. And boy, do I have a treat for you today. You know, most of the people following this channel, you're into things like death and taxes and Maverick, and I have a spicy meatball for you, courtesy of Bahra. I considered getting a better mic. Yes, I have. I think what I have now is fine, but I definitely could use an upgrade. Indeed, Cat Jesus in Legacy. I think this'll do it. So this deck list is courtesy of Mark Koenig, aka Bahra, and it's spicy. That's the only way to put it. So we're looking at essentially a green-white mana denial land destruction deck. Your engine here is like Exploration and Ramunap Excavator, allowing you to go and play 2 lands from your graveyard every turn. Recurring things like Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, and Horizon Canopy to generate value, which is really, really neat. And to go along with this, you have a small mana denial package in Thalia and Leonin Arbiter. Leonin Arbiter in particular makes your Ghost Quarters much better. The finisher for this deck list is Karn, and you use Karn for the Mycosynth Lattice Lock, although you also have a handful of other utility cards as well. I have a couple thoughts on the deck list. Dr. Bill, thank you very much for your continued support. I have a couple of thoughts on the deck list. I think that Tireless Tracker might be better than Sylvan Library in this shell. I'm not 100% sure, but that was one of my first thoughts when I saw the deck list. And my other thought was I probably want an anti-combo artifact in the sideboard, like either a Trinisphere or a Chalice to go and tutor for. But otherwise, I really like where this deck list is at. Bahra sent me this deck list, I don't know, it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. And at the time, he had a bunch of like 4-1s and such with it. He hadn't 5-0'd yet, but he was expecting to do it soon. So I didn't want to mess with the deck list before playing it. But if I were going to like bring this deck list to a paper tournament and, you know, risk something on it, I'd try replacing a Sylvan Library with the Tireless Tracker, and I'd pull the Fairy for either a Chalice or a Trinisphere. But I'm really excited to try out this deck list. Like, we have a lot of synergy in this deck list, and I think in a time when everyone is going and trying out things like Karn and Cloud Posts and new Ugins, that this deck will just murder people who are trying to get too much value out of their lands. Let's give it a shot. Morning, Echo. By the way, if you're playing Legacy Leagues, this is probably like really clear to you by now, but Karn is so much better than everyone expected. Like, everyone thought that that deck was going, or that card was going to be good and be impactful, but I don't think everyone realized like it was going to be spawning entirely new archetypes around it. You know, I think we all thought it was going to slot into decks that were already there, but Karn is doing a lot of work, and people are really brewing around it. I'm doing well. It's been a busy week, kind of a draining week. This is SOL testing week for us, Standard of Learning testing. So essentially, I did wonderful things like watch kids take tests this week, or walk kids to the bathroom this week. Job search is going well. Have 2 interviews set up for the next week. Applied to like 6 more. Turn 1, Leonin Arbiter on the play. Okay. Have a whole bunch of other applications in the works. This is now like the hot portion where we get to go and like all the schools are now looking for people. So the world is kind of my oyster. We'll discard Razor Verge Thicket so we don't play that shameful land. I think Karn the Great Creator is better than Karn Scion of Urza. And I don't think it's close. And if this is Turbo Depths and we just shut them off of all of their tutors, that's so good for us. Turn off auto yield. I have another land to play. So the thing that makes Karn great is not necessarily just Karn the Great Creator great is not just because he like gives you boo my cat. It's not that just he goes and gives you a way to win the game off tutoring. It's that he gives you a lot of flexibility in what you're doing with your mana. Like the tutor. Oh man, I'm going ham. So now I can just like play Ramunap, play a land. I think it's okay to give them a mana in order to set up my engine. I'm going to go ahead and put the Razor Verge Thicket into play. It'll be tapped. So like what the Karn is, it's a 4-mana. Alright, so we're like just like playing against legit Pox here. I keep getting interrupted by like doing things. So I'm just gonna like pause and finish my thought here. As soon as I port my opponent. Karn gives your main deck slots a huge degree of flexibility that the colorless decks have never had. So, for example, you have main deck Graveyard Hate now. I'm going to go ahead and pop this on the Wasteland and force my opponent to use this Wasteland now if they want to do it. And you have extra copies of main deck removal and bridges and things of that nature. What does this do? Sacrifice a desert, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature and opponent controls. Okay. So that's an annoyance. But it's not the end of the world. That's a 4-mana activation. But I guess that means that I should go ahead and target that now, so it doesn't kill my Thalia. Alright, I need a way to start recurring my lands or get some sort of card advantage here before this opposing Wasteland Crucible just starts getting me. You know, if I get my own Crucible, I will outpace them very quickly. And I'm not going to Wasteland my opponent. I'm just going to, like, hold this up for a little while. Because I might need to just, like, keep my own mana to help... that's a very bad draw. To help play around something like my own Thalia's Tax. So just like continuing the Karn discussion a little bit, if we just kind of like go and look at the number of different angles that I can attack from when I use the Karn minus to go and tutor, like you can recur lands to lock someone out, you stop the big creature decks, you beat anything if it's not offering pressure, you get utility to answer things like Jace, Graveyard Hate, removal, stopping weird combo win conditions, beating small creature decks. Like, in addition to just outright winning the game, there's a lot going on here in terms of giving colorless decks selection that they've never had before. I think I'm going to hold this land for Mox Diamond reasons. I can play out multiple lands due to exploration anyway. Excavator is a cleric, so there's good Cavern of Souls synergy. It also just, like, pokes the opponent. And that's not to be underestimated. Like, you do need win conditions. Alright. Alright, so we're just going to get locked out of the game this turn. Oh, nope. They're not going for the win. They're just trying to destroy my Mox Diamond. Which is probably incorrect. No, the new Gideon is not good in D&T. Actually, no, I take it back. Like, they can just, like, minus and get the Mycosynth Lattice this turn. Presuming that they have a 6th land. Yeah, like, mana is not a bottleneck right now. But if they weren't planning to just go, like, Karn minus, get Mycosynth Lattice right here. What is this? 3 mana, untap, Retrofitter Foundry. 2 mana, create a 1/1 Serwo. 1 tap, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature with flying. Tap, sacrifice a Thopter, create a 4/4 colorless construct creature token. Okay, why is this better than just winning the game? I do not understand. And, like, this also just doesn't do anything if they have Mycosynth Lattice in play. Yeah. Like, I can only assume that my opponent actually is not playing Mycosynth Lattice. Because, like, they had the ability to just, like, win the game, so, like, they don't have it. How many basics do I have? 1 plains, 1 forest. Do I want to turn this into a forest? Probably. Does not feel good. Look, if they want to use some 3-card combo with this in order to beat me, instead of killing me instantly, I'm, like, really on board with that. See, this is what I'm talking about with the flexibility of Karn. This means so that if I play, like, a Ramunap or something that could go and, like, get me back into this game, I'm just not getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and concede this one. I'm not like literally dead, but I think I'm close enough to locked out of this game where it doesn't matter. That's not true. I want more information. Like, my opponent is playing a really janky deck, and if I can see some other part of their win condition, that might be very important. I also don't really understand why they didn't just turn the 1/1 into, or no, this is a Sarwell. I see. So it's like a weird birthing pod. Turn it from one thing into a slightly better thing. This seems so loose. Also, why not, like, plus on your bridge and get in for a whole bunch of additional damage? And I'll just hold this. You know, there's the Wasteland Lock on the other side of the table to worry about. Look, we've established that the opponent is not playing optimally, right? Like, they're not just trying to win the game. Like, I don't know if they're just like inexperienced playing like a Pox style deck, and this is just something they're messing around with, so they're not used to like the fact that Ghost Quarter is just strip mine. So like this is probably just them, you know, dicking around on a Saturday morning. Like we've got to keep that in mind. You know, this is somebody probably getting a hilarious deck list from their buddy, being like, "Hey man, can you win a game with this?" This is the illusion of choice here. Like the person who's controlling this always gets to choose in a multiplayer game what's happening. All right, so now I get to destroy something. It doesn't really matter too much what I get rid of. I'm going to get rid of their Urborg. I don't want to point it at their Ghost Quarter because then they might realize that they can Ghost Quarter my my nice lands here, and I'll be sad. Oh, they figured it out. We'll concede there. Okay, so here's the thing about these Karn decks. You don't really sideboard very much because you want the utility of being able to get most of the stuff out of the sideboard. So I'll probably get rid of my Swords to Plowshares. They're only really good against a Merit Lodge token, and we're trying to fight those by destroying all their lands, not answering the Merit Lodge once it's in play. So I'll probably cut those and bring in a few things. Like, I'd be fine with naturally drawing a Pithing Needle. What am I going to want to tutor for if I get the opportunity to tutor? The answer is I probably want to tutor for Crucible, Lattice, or Bridge. So I'm going to want to leave these in the sideboard for sure. I can also just see myself wanting to board in some amount of graveyard hate. If I strip my my opponent from recurring things like Wasteland and Ghost Quarter, or if I strip their like Thespian Stage or Dark Depths, I gain a lot of oomph. I wish I had a couple of like more real win conditions to board in for something like this, because like one of my big problems at matches, I just like didn't put any pressure on my opponent. Like they innocent blooded and smallpoxed away my first couple of threats, and I didn't really do much. So I think I'll probably board like this. There's some world where I want to board in the Revoker, but again, having the flexibility. Well, if I try to use that to shut off Karn and I tutor for it, it also shuts off my own Karn, which is awkward. But I think that's fine. Alright, turn 1 Sylvan Library. Keep. My opponent has minimal ability to pressure my life total, so Sylvan Library is going to be very strong this match. You know, like Karn Thoughtseized away 2 games in a row is a little sad, but discard doesn't really fight Sylvan Library. Let's see. So this turn I can go Mox Diamond, discard Cavern of Souls, play a port. I probably just want to like take one more of these in order to get deeper in the deck. I don't know that I want to take 2 of them though. Because I just want to find a way to start like dumping more lands into play. I want to find like a Karn, a Ramunap, a Crucible, something like that. Discard the Cavern. Let's put another port in play. It's very good for them. That's mana that I can't tap down with my multiple ports. And we get free 2 life. So our Sylvan Library doing work here. Alright, there we go. There's Ramunap. That's awesome for us. So put that on top of the library. Pay 4 life to keep this one. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Play Ramunap. I guess we can just like play out one of these from graveyard. I don't know that I need to start ghost quartering my opponent. I think keeping them locked down with port is likely better. We'll be looking for an exploration next, and that'll kind of like finish out our lock. We might just like lose this to an Innocent Blood. Nope. Okay, there's a Karn, which is stellar. Let's put that on top. Let's put that on top. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 Karn and still port my opponent. And I'll use the Karn to blow up their Mox Diamond. Alright, so I guess technically I should attack first. Yeah, see what happens when your Karn threatens to go and get something out of the sideboard that immediately wins the game, instead of creates 1/1s. Just saying, like, if you're gonna play a broken degenerate card, like, use the one sideboard slot to do something that makes it degenerate, instead of just being really good. I'm gonna keep this hand. Even if we get Thought Seized, like, what's our opponent going to take that truly matters? Like, we either get Thalia or Library in play, now on turn 1. I think I'm gonna play the Thalia and let my opponent trip over it if they can't answer it. I'll still have the 3rd mana to let me play my Sylvan Library. It can just get Innocent Blooded, but otherwise it slows down something like Smallpox quite a bit. Oops, I accidentally borrowed different Art Horizon canopies. Tilt. I think this is short-term for Legacy. I think people are going to figure out how to beat Karn, and it won't be that big of a deal. But, like, for right now, it's the new hot thing, and people don't know how to, like, best play around it yet. So I can't play my Karn this turn, so I should really just hide that on top of my library. So I guess I'll put back Ghost Quarter, Karn, Play of Plains. I don't think I have any reason to play out another Sylvan Library. Like, my opponent in Mono Black isn't actually going to remove that unless they're playing some really questionable cards. So I think I'm just going to hold this in hand to be a Hymn to Turok buffer against, you know, whatever could come down in the future. And now we're just going to win the game with Karn. One, two, three, four. Land this turn, land next turn. So I'm good on that front. I'm going to pay some life to keep this card. And I'm going to put the Ghost Quarter on top to just assure that I have a 6 land next turn, even around Hymn to Turok. Is there anything I want out of my sideboard? Like, do I just want to get a Tormod's Crypt and have it sit on the battlefield? I think I'll just, like, take a card here. Obviously not the Mycosynth Lattice. I want to leave that in exile protected. But I'll just, like, pull a Phyrexian Revoker here and put some pressure on the Lily from a different direction. Yeah, Lord Darthy, that is faith in the format's resilience. Like, if this Karn thing goes and continues to, like, be one of the best things that people can be doing, then people start playing more Wasteland decks. You start seeing more Death and Taxes, more Maverick, decks that will disrupt you getting to the Karn in the first place. Cartesian, what I meant by that is I didn't want to tutor it this turn, so that if my opponent thought seized it, it would just get disrupted and put into my graveyard. So I want to tutor for it the turn that I play it here. Ah, mutually assured destruction, I see. You have 49 cards in deck, I have 48 cards in deck. This is interesting. Yeah, Eric, I was just thinking about that. If my opponent doesn't have surgicals of their own in the deck right now, then I win via the decking race. The other thing I could do is just try to beat them using the other resources that I have. And I'm not really sure what my best line is. They get a cursed scroll. Okay. So I could just play Exploration Ramunap, Exploration Ramunap, Wasteland You, Wasteland You. No, I did then just lose Lily to that. So I could go Ramunap, revoke your Lily. Alright, I'm not going to try to just mill them out. I think it'll be boring to watch. I think I'm just going to try to beat them down instead and just destroy everything they know and love. This is just an awkward package. So I can go Get a walking ballista, play a walking ballista for 2. Okay. I'm thinking about this curse scroll like it's a thing, but it's not a thing. It's shut off by the Karn. Alright. So that also shuts off my Mox. Or no, it's Lily Vale. So let's shut off Lily of the Vale. Let's play a land. Let's play a Ramunap Excavator. Do I want anything from my sideboard? Not really at this time. I guess I should have just plussed that on nothing. Like, I guess I just gave them an advantage there. Actually, that's not entirely true, because if they smallpox, now they kill their own curse scroll. Or if they Bantu's Last Reckoning, they kill their own curse scroll. Alright. I think I let the surgical go here. So let's start wrecking some lands. I'll take out that stage. I'll take out a swamp. I'll take out their Cabal Pit. I'm still going to lose this Lily to... or lose the cat to Lily, but that's okay. Hoping to find a Ramunap now, or a Crucible. I should have just, like, gone for the Mycosynth Lattice play. It would have been, like, boring and slow, but it would have won me the game. Presumably, like, assuming my opponent doesn't have Surgicals. I should have just done it. Now I might lose this game to Bantu's Last Reckoning, which I obviously wasn't playing around. Womp womp. Ah, the Legacy All-Star Retrofitter Foundry again. I mean, the Karn decks are very, very good. Like, that's clear right now. but I don't think by any means they're unbeatable. Like, they're giving the artifact-based decks, you know, a great new angle of attack, and people are going to have to respect them more than they've done in the past. So turn their Retrofitter Foundry into a creature. Good for them. Alright, so they can create a 2/2, untap this thing, and then nothing. So my attack in is safe. Well, not exactly safe. But I'm going to play like my opponent is not trying to win the game. Because they can just, like, take no blocks on this and just, like, make dudes and kill me. But I don't think they're going to do that. Oh my god, are you double blocking? Please tell me you're double blocking my first striker. No. Yeah, but I definitely think that was a moment where you let the Lily go, and then you just, like, crack me back. But who knows what terrible artifact they have to kill me with. Alright, I mean, Ensnaring Bridge is pretty decent, but it's not winning you the game. Yeah, like, I have no business to still be in this game. Like, they're just giving me the opportunity to go and top deck a Planeswalker or something, you know, of that caliber and win. Like, now instead of just having me on a one-turn clock, I'm still in this game. Like, now they're going to have to, like, beat me to death over a couple of turns playing around their own bridge. Like, just to use an example, now if I had an Ensnaring Bridge, I basically lock them out. But, c'est la vie. Feel bad about losing that one. I should have just gone for the Mycosynth Lattice Lock. I thought I could win without it in a less boring way, but that was not actually true. I'll be keeping this hand. Julian, that is kind of hilarious. So I presume that I'll probably lose the Mox Diamond to this Inquisition, because losing the Mox Diamond is like losing both Mox Diamond and Exploration. Which actually makes this hand significantly weaker. Oh, thank God. They took not the best card in the hand. I'm very happy. Alright, so now I can go Mox Diamond, discard Cavern, play Exploration, play 2 lands, and port them. I don't know whether or not they're a blue deck. I'm going to assume they're something like Depths, and just discard my Cavern. Thank you, opponent, for not taking my Mox. I truly do appreciate it. Well, if opponent likes getting ported, good news, I have 2 ports. So I take it back that I think they're on a Depths deck. Probably on a Bug mid-range deck. Show me Force of Will. Also, I immediately regret not playing my Rishadan port because of my Exploration, so I could get this dazed for being an idiot. This is a great example of when, like, a mental shortcut that you've, like, built after playing years of Magic bites you in the butt. You know, like, I played my land, I don't need to think about playing another land again before doing something. Okay, okay. So I can play around discard by leaving the lattice in the sideboard, or I can play around like a lightning bolt. Attack with the diamond. Get him. Get him. I think I'm not going to expose my Karn to Lightning Bolt by minusing now. Ah! Fair. Okay, so we're probably playing against, like, Punishing Dak. I can minus my Karn, get a Ballista, cast Ballista for 2, kill the Karn, or kill the Dak, have a Ballista around still. I can also just, like, plus and kill the diamond, but I'd like to get the Dak off the battlefield. Like, Dak's just very, very scary for me. And once the Dak's off the battlefield, I can get, like, Crucible of Worlds and just Ghost Quarter lock my opponent out of this game. And it might even just be correct to do so this turn. Just go, like, get Crucible, Ghost Quarter you, Ghost Quarter you, let you loot with Dak. And then get Ballista the following turn. I don't hate it. But I think there's a lot that can go wrong with that plan. So I'm gonna deviate from what I said I was gonna do originally. I'm just going to get this Sylvan Library into play. The cumulative advantage that it provides over time, especially with exploration, is massive. This isn't that big of a deal. I don't think I need a second Karn this turn. So go ahead and put that on top. Let's go ahead and keep this. Let the fun begin. I mean, the fun for me. I don't really care if I give them a little bit of extra mana. What color do I want to knock them off of for next turn? I probably want to knock them off of blue. I don't want them to have mana that goes towards Dak Faden. It's like Dak Faden stealing my Crucible is a little annoying. We don't care about losing that Karn. We have another one as the top card of our library. And now we played all the lands that we can play. I don't know the exact, like, punishing Dak list. I didn't know they had 3 basics. I thought it was 2. So the top card of my library is a Karn. Keeping that in mind, do I actually want to search? The answer is probably no. So this is great. So I'll put this back on top. Pay 4 life to keep this. So let's go land, land, Karn, wasteland you. I'm not getting this back. So let's just take it off the battlefield. Plussing sort of like keeps my Karn at the same degree of loyalty to fend off the Baleful Strix. And then at any point, when I have enough mana, like when I get to 6, which is right now, apparently, I can just go for the lock and put the Mycosynth Lattice into play. Then I'll just have to beat the Karn, or sorry, beat the Baleful Strix, and that's already fine. So I pay 8 in order to get both of these lands. Or I guess I don't need the Mox Diamond. So I can like put that on top. Or no, I do because Razorbilge Thicket. So if I get this aggressive though, like if I just take all of these cards, Punishing Fire is a problem. But I guess it's not a problem, right? Because like the Karn's still around. So I would take 4, 8, 9 in order to put Mycosynth Lattice into play. My opponent can't cast anything. If the Mycosynth Lattice got Force of Willed, I would just be utterly devastated for doing this. So maybe I should play a little more patiently and just not abuse my life total in order to win here. All right. So let's minus the Karn, get something fun. How about just a Ballista? Sure, but what if he drew the Force this turn, you know? So, like, I think I'm in such a good position that I can afford to, like, play a little more patiently. I sacrifice a creature. Well, I'll kill your Strix. And I'll nug you for 1. So what we don't want to see is some counterspell followed up by Punishing Fire on Karn. Alright, so that's also not stellar. But like we can remove that and find another Karn, and then our opponent's locked out again. Alright. So let's put that on top. Let's put that on top. Let's take that off the battlefield. Oh my gosh, this is obnoxious. Is my opponent in the middle of conceding or something? Why can I not do anything? well, this is frustrating. Okay, there we go. Cowgreg91, thank you for following. I'm going to leave my opponent with no permanents. Or maybe they'll Snapcaster again. Alright, we've done it. Alright, so playing against Punishing Dak, what do I want? I'm going to want these chokes. Alright, what do I want in the sideboard? So I probably want, like, these in the sideboard to tutor for. Alright, so what do I don't want? That's usually the better way to approach this. Like, I don't want my Swords to Plowshares. Everything else is fine or good. So I'm going to want to bring in 2 more cards other than just the chokes to fill things out. That could be Surgicals, it could be the Ballistas, it could be Needle Revoker. It just kind of depends on, like, what I want to do with this whole Karn situation. So, like, Surgical is fine. Needle and Revoker are good. I'll probably want to leave one of them in the sideboard to tutor for. Karn situation, you know, I tend to use phrases like that, you know, in reference to pulp situation, or in reference to pulp fiction, you know. We got to do something about this Bonnie situation. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen Pulp Fiction and you're into, like, Quentin Tarantino stuff or non-linear storytelling, highly, highly, highly recommend it. I think I'm going to board... I think I'm going to board in my Revoker and 1 Ballista. I don't know that I actually want a Swords to Plowshares Technomage. I don't know that it's, like, actively better than anything else. Like, there's situations where, like, having one to take a Snapcaster Mage off the table or something is kind of nice. But I don't know that as a whole is really where I need to be. Oh yeah, unquestionably, this hand is, like, amazing. It's even better now. Like, I get to go Mox, Mox, Land. I'll probably still play Thalia over Ramunap, even though I can play Ramunap on 1. But I'm going to think about it. I might not even play the second... no, I'll play the second Mox because of, like, what it sets me up to do on turn 2. Force Pitch Chase. That's fine. Like, now I get, like, Ramunap into play a land, into Arbiter. Exploration off the top would be a pretty sweet draw. As would a Ghost Quarter. The problem with just slamming Catman is that if I do that and they just have a Punishing Fire, nothing matters. So now we're looking for Horizon Panic, Canopy, Wasteland, Ghost Quarter. Catman would have done nothing. The Dak Faden's a little annoying. Like, they'll take one of my Moxen, but then I'll kill the Dak. Neat. So what am I doing this turn? So all I want to do is just get to 6 mana and win the game. Well, the Karn already shuts off the Mox, so I don't, like, need to do that immediately. I kind of just want to, like, get a Walking Ballista and be able to sit on that so that my Karn can't be attacked by derpy little idiots. I could also just get, like, Ensnaring Bridge for similar reasons. But, like, the Walking Ballista can answer an opposing Planeswalker. It can pick off an opposing Snapcaster or something like that. I think it's just going to be good to have around. Alright, you're blowing up my mana sources. And, like, that's cool and all, but, like, where are you going long term? So is this Arbiter doing anything if I put it in play? Probably not. I do just want to keep this Karn out of burn range. So, like, let's just nug one of those. This is still probably fine to play. I want to draw a Wasteland or a Ghost Quarter and just start going ham. Could just get a Jitte. Does my opponent play a sweeper like a Toxic Deluge? Probably, so I probably shouldn't play out the second Ramunap. I'll play out a Ballista. If my opponent, like, end of turn Snapcaster Mages, this can block and, you know, protect it, and I don't lose as much. Really surprised my opponent didn't end step fetch there. That may end up being a punishing mistake. So now I could Karn minus Jitte equip and start getting Jitte counters to just like put one more angle of squeeze on my opponent. I don't hate that. Or I could just start putting counters on Walking Ballista. Oops, missed trigger. That's a good point. I should have done that. That's just value that I left on the table. I'll pull the Mycosynth Lattice out of the sideboard now. Just threaten it. Note, opponent is effectively at 4 here because Ballista can just shoot them in the face. Alright, easy. I made a couple of like small micro mistakes that match that were definitely costly, but it didn't matter. I think we're well positioned in that fight. So like our opponent has Dax to go and steal our like cool fun artifacts, but if they just like steal a Mox and then I kill the Dak, they don't really end up getting anywhere. I will be keeping this hand. So I go Mox, Exploration, Wasteland Cavern, Thalia. Seems like a pretty respectable turn 1. Actually, I should probably hold the Wasteland and not show it turn 1. Yeah, HC Fox, I'm with you. Top deck Ramunap, Wasteland Engine, go, 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 go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a... Alright. You do get to do a thing. So we're probably playing against, like, legit turbo depths. Not like the mid-range version with, like, the Bobs and, like, Lilies and stuff, but, like, make the Merit Lodge as fast as possible. Your Pithing Needle resolves. You may name Ghost Quarter. We're coming out very far ahead in the mana war here. Not the man-o war, like the blue bounce creature, but the mana war. Lol. There are some things I love in life, you know? Mythology, it's awesome. Rashadenport, pretty far up there too. Ha! Now you can't stop my port with your Ghost Quarter. Checkmate, MSO 1235. Man, when you're hot, you're hot. I mean, we'll probably lose this to a piece of discard before like it actually becomes relevant. But that's fine. Note that this is like effectively just better than Urborg, because it also I didn't tap wrong, I still have the Mox. Because like this technically produces colorless mana, so there's some world where our opponent is like, Thought Knot Seer you! So it's just like better to tap the Ghost Quarter for flexibility reasons. Super happy to see Sajiri Step hit play, by the way. That means that I just have like one less thing to worry about later on. We really do need another piece of the puzzle here in order to go and do something meaningful that will actually like lock our opponent out of the game. That's gotta go. So this will name Rashadenport, open up some of their mana. Although it could just name Wasteland. But I think it's supposed to name Rashadenport, you know. Deal with the thing that is on board currently. I don't think this deck is that bad, Bear with Two Guns. Like, I'm doing reasonable things here. Alright, they've chosen to go for the long game and name Wasteland. Which is, in fact, very good for them considering what just happened. Like, the problem with naming Wasteland, though, is that I'm still going to get to keep them off of green, which is going to keep them off of, like, future top-decked tutors. Which is very much a problem. So now if we draw Karn, the game's basically over. Because I'll get to, like, Karn minus get an ensnaring bridge, play an ensnaring bridge, and then I can't just, oops, I lost a Merit Lodge. Yeah, I did it again. You're right, you're right. Gotta be better about that. That's on me. Okay. So what do I want in the sideboard to wish for? Let's start there. I want to wish for Ensnaring Bridge. So what do I want to bring in? So like I'd consider Ballista to just kill Vampire, Hexmage, and Bobs, because apparently they're on a build that is running like both a bunch of Lotus Petals and Bobs. Would consider bringing in Pithing Needle and or Revoker. So I think like this is going to be my package of things that I'm going to want to wish for. So I probably want to board in 2 to 4 cards. The thing is, most of my main deck is actually just like ready to beat this deck, right? So like Ramunap's Crucibles, Arbiters, Swords of Plowshares, Thalias, like all this stuff is just absolutely amazing against this deck. So I don't actually know how much I really do want to sideboard. Like if I just view this as another tutor target, are these cards actually better than anything else that is in here? And I don't know that the answer is yes. I think I'm gonna just whack the submit button and run this back. Like, it's possible that Thalia on the draw is a little bit softer, but I have Mox Diamond, so I still have the possibility of playing it on turn 1, where it's still incredibly powerful. Yep, I'm whacking the submit button. Perfect 60. My opponent's mulligan. I'll be keeping my hand. I have just a great set of cards here. Like, my turn 1 is, like, play Exploration and then Wasteland you. Or if they lead on a Bob, you know, just Swords to Plowshares that. And even if I go and lose one of these cards to, like, an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize or something, like, the hand's still solid. Sylvan Safekeeper. Okay. So I don't think I need to remove that immediately. I probably will end up removing it. But I think my board progression is just like so much better if I go and play the Exploration first. And for Pithing Needle reasons, I'm not going to play out a Wasteland. I'm going to show them a Ghost Quarter instead. The Sylvan Library will let me refuel after dumping a huge portion of my hand into play via Exploration. We're set up pretty well for this game. I'd really like to draw another colored mana, though. Like another true colored mana, because I can't like Sylvan Library and Swords this turn. Nice. Okay. So what am I doing with my life? I think, again, just advancing my board is pretty strong. So let's get the library into play. throw out a Wasteland. That'll take them off of double black for things like Vampire Hexmage, and maybe off of black completely, we'll see. And then we just kind of slow things down a little bit. And when we have the source of card advantage in play, that favors us. Alright, so the Pithing Needle will probably take out the Ghost Quarter that's on board, which frees up our Wasteland to do sweet things. You know, once they play another non-basic, which is not happening at the current time. Rashadan Port would be an awesome draw. Oh, they have named Wasteland. So my Ghost Quarters will be free to do their thing, which is great because I have multiple of them. Not great is this pocket of lands that's on top of my library, so I'll probably just take some damage to plow through these. It's maybe not correct to take that much, but like I want to look at fresh cards. I think I need to look at fresh cards in order to like get here. What is Karn Lake, Eric? I'll bite. Me and Fanny Pack, I don't think we're anywhere near the point where we're going to want to Ghost Quarter ourselves. Alright, so this one names the Wasteland. That's, you know... Or this one names the Ghost Quarter that's on board. That's fine. Anyway, back to the previous idea. Like, all I need to do is just, like, keep working towards locking my opponent out of this game, keep making land drops so that I can win the game either literally or effectively with Karn. And I don't think setting myself back on mana is going to go towards that plan. Okay, I probably just want to play Leonin Arbiter this turn. So I can play Leonin Arbiter and one land. I don't think I need to take any more damage here. So like, let's just put back the Mox. Put back the Ramunap. Wasteland and Ghost Quarter are both doing their thing. Let's put that on Cleric. Now opposing fetch lands are going to feel a lot worse. Elvish Spirit Guide, crop rotation. Okay, sure. Kafegar, thank you very much for your continued support. You've been around for a long time now. Thank you for 10 months of support. Joke's on you, I have all lands. Time Walk. I did it. Well, Thalia seems pretty great. Am I willing to pay 4 life in order to play Thalia and Ramunap this turn? I don't think so. Because like it'll also cost me 1 off the Horizon Canopy, so it's really like 5 life in order to do that. So that seems unnecessary to me. Like shortening the clock just a tiny bit, probably not that big of a deal. Like it's this mana lock portion of the deck that's doing good right now. I will indeed not go below 0, I promise. at least to the best of my ability. All right, you don't want me to go below 1? That's fine. We can do that. It's 1 life point difference. It's totally acceptable. So our opponent essentially has to go natural land into natural depths in order to beat me. If my opponent does go natural depths, I probably am going to have to consider just like cracking these horizon canopies to try to draw out of it. All right. So, but just to like talk through something real quick, if my opponent just like went to their end step and didn't concede, I'd probably at least like crack 1 horizon canopy to just like draw one of the bad cards off of the top, and then start like replaying like horizon canopies from my graveyard with Ramunap. I think Eric has a video of that on his YouTube page. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know at least you played some matches with it. There were some very ridiculous screenshots on Twitter. It was too bad to put on YouTube. Yikes. Like, speaking of like throwing decks, like Karn into decks where it didn't belong, Anurag actually streamed with Karn in Miracles to try it out. I think it was either yesterday or the day before. This is probably going to be the first hand that I actually have to mulligan with this deck. I don't think we've mulliganed once yet. Opponent just greeting me. So I told them good luck, and be sure to check out the video on YouTube later. And they said, I'd rather not. I'd rather not see my own punts. Fair. Oh boy. This hand is not good. I'm going to keep this and hope to scry something that matters to the top. Like, if I scry a Arbiter, Thalia, Library, Excavator, Crucible, or Karn to the top, I think this hand is fine. So, like, in my mind, to make this a fine hand, I have 19 hits in about 2 to 3 cards. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this one, but it's not super impressive. Obviously, that's going to go to the top. Oh yeah, play that, Mom. So we'll see what my opponent gets with this. I'm not 100% sure what I would get in their position. Like, Mox Diamond, Razor Verge Thicket, Cavernous Soul, Swords to Plowshares. Like, if I did not specifically know about this deck, I'd be a little confused what my opponent was doing. I'd be guessing that it would be something Maverick-ish, which might make me go for Jete. Yeah. So the thing about Jete is that, like, they kind of have to commit another creature to the board before the Jete is actively good. Like, if they they just, like, use their turn to, like, put the Jete in and then attack with it on the Stoneforge next turn, that essentially means that, like, Stoneforge trades. Whoops. That was clearly clicking through an attack. An opponent goes and says, first punt. Alright. Not looking great. Like, my opponent's going to get Jete counters. I'm going to get Wastelanded. Yeah, I don't know about tapping that Wasteland. Opponent probably thinks you're Astral Slide. That is a distinct possibility. Well, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, all I'm saying is scoreboard. Like, let's just look at the last GP and look at the number of D&T in the top 8, and feels pretty okay. But notably, it does feel a lot less okay online. Well, okay, like, pre-new set release, it was not feeling awesome online, but it was feeling fine for paper events. I'm going to hide the Caracas in hand in case my opponent goes and plays out Athalia or something like that. No point in playing the cat out just to, like, eat some Jite counters. This one may have slipped away. I'm not sure how I feel about the aggressive use of the Jite counters. I don't love it. But I also don't necessarily think it's incorrect. Okay, so, like, in what world do I win this game? I win this game via Karn, get an ensnaring bridge, and lock my opponent out. That's basically the only way that I can win this game. I'm going to continue to play the game until my opponent shows me something else that's powerful. Like, just the Stoneforge plus Jitte is not a particularly fast clock. So I have time. But if my opponent starts, like, recruiter chaining or something like that, I'm done. Yeah, white faces, that's a solid point. Like, if you don't know what your opponent is doing, trying to work towards getting them dead is fine. Like, a lot of times if I think I'm playing in a creature mirror, I'm pretty conservative with my Jitte counters, because you never know, like, what you're going to need to kill. And the damage, in most cases, can be cashed in on any turn. Yep, that's a good line. Honestly, I think I'm just going to let that go, rather than discard another land to it. I'm not going to need 5 mana next turn in all likelihood. So this is just going to hit me for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm dead the following turn, and I won't have time. Yeah. That's fine. Alright, so what do I want versus D&T? So, like, Ballista's great, Bridge is great, Jitte's great, Revoker and Needle are great. Opponent says, "What are you playing, lol?" Alright, so what don't I want? So Thalia is kind of medium. Arbiter is also kind of medium. Like, it has utility against Stoneforge and Recruiter of the Guard, but I don't really know that that's where I need to be. I kind of just want to try to be, like, a Karn combo deck, I guess, in this matchup. I think I'm going to have to keep this, or, like, at least keep some number of the Arbiters, because I can't necessarily board in all of the cards that I want to. I'm going to need to keep some of them around as a sideboard package. So, like, I probably need to keep Lattice and Bridge in the sideboard. Sideboarding with this deck's kind of weird, because of, like, your ability to tutor for things with Karn. So, like, I think I just want to naturally draw Needle and Revoker. I 100% don't want the Thalias in the deck. So I need to board in at least 2 more of these cards in order to just, like, kind of make my numbers work out a little bit better. So I think that's the Jitte and the Ballista, and then I leave myself a 3 to 4 card wish board. The thing about boarding in the Jitte, though, is that I'm like a touch light on creatures. Like, I have 8 creatures plus things that I animate with Karn, so it's not actually like the Jitte is amazing. But I think this is where I'm at. This deck is definitely not built to fight against D&T. Alright, what am I doing? So I'm going land, exploration, wasteland. And I'm hoping to draw a land to play a turn 2 Karn. Okay. Yeah, JWVH. I get that, but like I have to board in something to take out the Thalias, which are abysmal, and I'd rather have a copy of Ballista in the board, so I have more copies of that than an extra copy of a Jitte. Like there's some tension in actually boarding in cards because of like how Karn works. All right, Razor Verge, Exploration, Savannah, Exploration, Wasteland, go. Board in Fairy to protect yourself from surgicals. Strong, strong play. Mom's fine. Alright, is it better to just slam Karn, or do I Swords to Plowshares this Mom? It's probably better to just, like, use my mana efficiently and play Karn. I think I'm either supposed to get Bridge or Ballista here. I think I'm going to get Ballista first. Because, like, next turn I can cast a Ballista for 2, which will take out Mom, and then I can use Swords to Plowshares to, like, take out any follow-up threat. Alright, that's pretty strong. Now the question is, like, are you going to attack with Mother of Runes here? No. So now I can Karn minus, get Bridge, play Bridge, and set myself up for a longer game, like losing the Karn. Get Crucible and kill everything. Like, the thing is that, like, I can keep taking them off of non-basic lands, but I'm going to have to, like... I guess if I can Ghost Quarter them 3 times a turn, it's only actually 3 or 4 turns before I get all of their stuff. Maybe that's not crazy. All right, I'm with you guys. I think I'm willing to go the Crucible route. Like, I think if I'm going to go the Crucible line, like, playing a Ballista for... Yeah, maybe playing Ballista for X equals 1 was better than, like, doing that. Bear with 2 guns. Ask and you shall receive. My opponent in chat says, "Oh, baby." We're actually doing fine. Like, we have a positive record right now. Actually, am I supposed to just play a 1-1 Ballista? Maybe I'm supposed to play a 1-1 Ballista. Like, I think they've got a Swords to Plowshares, so just, like, baiting that out of their hand seems fine. I've literally never seen a D&T list with a cast out, so I'm not going to play around that. Nice. So now I can take care of a mom at any point. Yes, I have seen a list with Avacyn. I miss playing Baneslayer in D&T. I played 2 in the, like, shardless bug apocalypse of, like, geez, how many years ago was that now? Like 4? Where that deck was just, like, absolutely everywhere. I went back and forth between, like, trying Wiltleaf Liege and Baneslayer Angel in the sideboard. Yeah, it used to be that, like, when Baneslayer Angel hit play, it was, like, literally uncastable. Bear with 2 guns, you're not the first person to go and suggest that to me. Alright, how good is this opener? So I just go, like, Mox Diamond, Exploration, Swords of Plowshares, a Mom if they play one, but I don't actually have anything to do. I think I'm going to ship this one. This hand's much better. Do I want a Karn? I don't want a Karn immediately, but, like, the card's so good in the matchup that I will go ahead and put it on top. This deck's sweet. Turn 1. I have 3 mana sources and I'm porting you. Has my opponent seen Swords to Plowshares yet, by the way? I don't think they have. If they haven't seen that, maybe it's correct for them to be attacking with their mom. Like, obviously I do have the Swords to Plowshares, so there's that. Do I want to play Crucible or Ramunap? Probably Crucible so that I don't just get, like, Swords to Plowshared. Yeah, value engine is a go. I can Horizon Canopy draw a card every turn. I don't love that I'm unlocking their mana, but I just think it is correct for me to set this up. I expect them to get Batterskull this time, kind of after the way the last game played out. Which will be good, because then I'll just get, like, Karn and Snaring Bridge. Derp, 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 derp. Nope, nope, they got Jitte again. Austin, thank you very much for following. I hope you're enjoying the content. We got some interesting things happening here. Alright, Pithing Needle resolves. What are you naming? Like Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, Karn, Ballista. You've got plenty of choices. I'm hoping not Karn. And Nerf Blaster, thank you very much for your continued support. It still kind of blows my mind that, like, I've been doing this long enough that I now have, like, people who have been around for more than a year. So let's start by drawing a card. Actually, I probably want to do this off of port. I don't see myself porting my opponent. But the colored mana is likely not to matter. So I guess I'll leave myself the flexibility. A Mox Diamond, you say? So now I can go Horizon Canopy and Caracas. Both. So I can go Horizon Canopy, draw a card, Caracas, Ramunap. You think it's better to play Karn anyway so they can't play the Jitte? Or can't equip the Jitte? That's a really interesting point. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so I go Horizon Canopy, tap, draw a card, but then I can't play the Karn. Yeah, so I think I'll do both of these. And I'll play a Karn. This is just awkward, killable Null Rod. Let's make that clear. Karn is Pithing Needled. Yeah, if Karn was not needled, like, it's just very easy. Like, Karn minus, get a bridge, hide behind bridge. They can do, like, the Stoneforge Jitte dance to, like, slowly attack me down, but then I can probably, you know, wiggle my way through that. Oh, come on, wasteland me. Do it. I wonder if we're gonna, like, see them realize that they can't attack with this. Yup. Got him. That's what they typed to me in chat. Getting some value out of the Karn here. It's gonna soak up some damage. Alright. So let's start trying to draw our way through the deck. A walking ballista. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Walking ballista for X equals 3. Don't mind if I do. So this ballista is going to be a nightmare for my opponent. There's no justice if we win this matchup. Why not? How is there no justice? I do think they're in very, very bad shape if they can't get rid of this ballista this turn. Like, there's plenty of cards that do it, like Council's Judgment, Flicker Wisp, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile if that was boarded in, Cataclysm. Like, there's plenty of things that can beat this ballista. But if I untap and throw like 2 more counters on it, the advantage that I get by doing so might be just insurmountable when paired with like the Horizon Canopy Exploration Crucible engine that I've already got going. Opponent's thinking about something. Swords to Plowshares on Ballista. Okay, so my hand's forced here. So hit you. Hit you. Hit you. Alright, Recruiter's pretty sweet. What do you have to go and get? It's probably just like a Flicker Wisp. Yeah. Yeah, Jailer would have been really strong as well. There's like literally no point, right? Like, I'm tapped out. There's no way I'm going to have some white spell. It's just like wasting time. The Swords to Plowshares is good. That means I can interrupt the Flicker Wisp targeting the Recruiter. Walking Ballista is colorless. And Karn is Pithing Needled. So do I just want to play 2 Excavators? So I can go at Excavator, Excavator. No, I don't want to do that. I want to play 1 Excavator so I can draw a card, play an Excavator, and then leave up 1 mana. Pithing Needle's cool. I don't need to stop anything yet, but I might need to later. Yeah, I don't think I can answer the Pithing Needle, so like my Karns are just shut off, which means I don't have access to my Ensnaring Bridge. Womp womp. Yeah, that's going to need another white. Here's a Flicker Wisp. Target Recruiter. Get totally savaged by Swords to Plowshares. Nope, no Krosan Grips. More generally, I think like no answers to artifacts. So there's a Wasteland, so I can start denying my opponent mana. Is that better than drawing cards? Like, what do I want to do? I have to win this game by, like, derpy Ramunap / Leonin Arbiter beatdown. So, like, how do I progress my game state to where that actually happens? Like, are my opponent's lands relevant? My opponent's lands are really only relevant if they have some big haymaker or they draw Recruiter. See if they want to trade these. My guess is they don't. I can also like work on drawing towards my own Jitte. Do I want to draw a card? I don't know that I want to draw a card. So, like, I'm going to want to put this into play. Maybe I do want to draw a card. Cat? Cat's probably better than porting. So I'm not afraid of their Jitte yet. Like, if they attack Karn down to 1 counter, or actually, like, if Karn dies, then I'll needle that. But, like, leaving the Karn here sitting on the battlefield is, like, a couple damage worth of, like, fog, right? Sarah Avenger as a 3/3 is relatively inconvenient. Like, it's something that can attack and defend simultaneously. So I'm probably going to have to needle the Jitte this turn so they can't equip it in the second main phase. What do I want to draw towards? I'd love to draw towards Swords to Plowshares. That would be very strong. So let's take an attempt at doing that. Razor Verge Thicket is not strong. Would I like to draw another card? Yes. Mox Diamond's not, like, amazing, but Razor Verge Thicket is very bad. Alright, so we've named Jitte. This is shut off by, like, yet another avenue. Can't safely attack in. looking for my... I guess I'm not looking for my own Jitte anymore. So, like, deck weakness, if Karn gets needled, this deck is very bad. Is that actually true, though? Like, if I hit Ghost Quarter, is my opponent actually in a lot of trouble? Because I think they just beat me to death in the air. Like, I need a Swords to Plowshares to take out Sarah Avenger, and then I can race my opponent. Our other Ballista's in the sideboard, so we don't have access to it, because our Karn's needled. Well, we get another cat, so we got that going for us. I think this is the slow slide to our demise. We can still get out of this, but it's not looking great. Dobots, thank you very much for following. I hope you're enjoying the content. All right. That's fair. Surgical extraction on my Horizon Canopy. That does actually quite a bit of damage to me. So now I might end up, like, awkwardly wastelanding my opponent's wastelands to try to, like, continue to choke them on mana. Oh my god, he didn't get to search my library. You're right. That's hilarious. Thank you, Moto. Yeah, so my opponent would have to play 4 extra in order to, like, search there. They had the mana to do it. And I actually wish that they did, so that I could, like, have wastelanded them safely. I should have played the wasteland for my graveyard, but whatever. Alright, I'm out of land drops. So I think I'm on no outs. That Pithing Needle on Karn is so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, that's you're looking for a way to fight against, like, the Karn decks. Like, I'm flopping around and having a lot of trouble without access to this Karn. Alright, I'm dead. GG's. Alright, so what are we at? We're at 2-2 now. Alright, I'm going to take like a 30-second restroom break, and then I'll be back, and we'll go into the last round here. Oop. Be right back, screen. All right, let's do it. So for anyone who's joined in recently, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site for legacy death and taxes. Today we're playing sort of a weird cousin of D&T. Let me sort this so it's clearer. We're playing sort of a land destruction recursion deck. The goal being to recur Ghost Quarter and Wasteland via Ramunap Excavator, Crucible of Worlds, and Exploration. We're doing okay right now. We're 2-2. Oop. Opponent from the last match says, thanks for the game. Maybe I'll watch your YouTube video after all, but you didn't draw crap with your Horizon Canopy. There wasn't much in the deck to draw. Beating a 3-3 was hard. The world hates Paul. Thank you very much for your continued support. All right, and we've been paired. And Felchmaster, that's rough. So I'm having a lot of fun playing this deck, but as we just saw, if our Karns get shut off, we're in super bad shape. This is a slow hand, but turn 2 Thalia into turn 3 Ramunap into Mana Denial is probably good enough to keep this. What am I looking to draw off the top? Maybe an Exploration would be neat. Exploration off the top would mean, next turn I can go Exploration, land drop, Thalia. Opponent says, you've lost your roots, Phil. Okay. Don't really know what they mean by that as I play Thalia. But alright. So I think I'm going to play this Ghost Quarter first to play around Days. Play out an Arbiter. So now, as soon as they tap any mana, I can Ghost Quarter them. They can sit there and leave it up. But as soon as they do something like that, I just get to Ghost Quarter them. And I don't even need to respond now. I can let them go and, play through the rest of their turn, make their decisions, maybe not realize that they're going to get Ghost Quartered. Because, even something like Swords to Plowshares is, totally fine because of the Thalia attacks. Oh man, are they just going to miss a land drop and get Ghost Quartered? So now I have Ramunap, Ghost Quarter, Lock. So, like, super important thing here, my opponent discarded Past in Flames, so that actually lets me know that they're on Ant, which otherwise I would not have known. So what do I want versus Ant? So, like, Revoker's fine, and the Graveyard Hate's fine. Chokes are sort of questionable, but, like, these are the cards that I can consider bringing in. So, like, 100%, these Swords of Plowshares are coming out. My Crucibles are probably coming out. And the rest of this stuff can probably stay. I may end up, like, cutting some of the top end. Yeah, Karn's very good against Ant. These chokes on the draw... are a little questionable. But I don't have as much interaction as I might otherwise like. Choke is a poor man's lattice. I 100% agree. I don't know how exactly to, like, sideboard from here. Like, I probably want my chokes on the play for sure. Like, if I do this on the draw, I can just, like, then go and, like, trim a Ramunap or something and submit that as is. -1 Caracas. I'll buy -1 Caracas as being better than doing that. No, Phil, you were once good Sand Ewok, but you have sided with the Chalice Wookiees. I will be keeping this hand. This is a very optimal hand for us. Like, we can't deploy a Hate Bear on turn 1, but we have, like, multiple different layers of hate going on here. So, like, Past in Flames kill is pretty much impossible as is. And we get to play a strong Hate Bear on turn 2 if our opponent can't just, like, combo off without the graveyard. Yeah, HC Fox, like, this is about the best that we can hope for, right? Like, Sans having a Mox opener that lets us, like, play Athalia on turn 1, this is about as good as it gets. Evening, El Dorte. Dark Ritual. Non-threshold Cabal Ritual. That's fine. Lotus Petal, ad nauseum. That's fine. Dread of Nights are good to know about. There was a world where I was supposed to, like, Surgical Extraction the Lotus Petal, but I really think I just want to, like, try and catch my opponent stopping on some sort of, like, Past in Flames hand. Alright, so my opponent is going to go Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual. So I can just, like, I can surgically extract Dark Ritual right now and stop them from going off this turn. Alright, so I've got 2 Dread of... Alright, I should just snip this. Yep. Alright, so I pulled the one out of the ritual, pulled the one out of the hand, pulled them out of the library. Okay. Yeah. Alright, you get to Thoughtseize me. That's fine. Alright. So the Thoughtseize is gone. Like, I'm going to get to play a Phyrexian Revoker on the LED and still have Fairy backup. I don't know, they might just take Thalia. Like, can they power through Thalia with what they have? Like, they've only got 1 Cabal Ritual in hand, plus LED. Oh, they have Dread of Night in hand, I see. Yeah, so maybe they will take the Revoker. In which case, I play out Thalia, it costs them 2 initial mana for Dread of Night. It will probably get me a turn. But I'll need something else long term. There's also a world where they might just take Fairy, let me revoke LED, and then try to go off via Past in Flames afterwards. Yeah. So, like, after thinking it through, I think that's the line I would have taken from their side. Alright, so Trop, Tendrils, Thoughtseize, Tendrils, Trop. Surgical for Tendrils would be so sick. Blitzingmeyer. And Preordain. Okay. So this is their hand. The cat seems pretty good. Like, I don't know that they can power through with Infernal Tutor. I don't know that I care enough to think about it, but... So you can go Cabal Writ up to 7, LED, effectively 10 mana, Infernal Tutor, Yeah, they're gonna have basics. There's none in the discard pile. Alright, I'm gonna play the cat and make them think about it. The thing is, with the Echoing Truth that's in their hand, any one of these that I play represents, like, just my play being invalidated. So they get to go Cabal Ritual, Echoing Truth, bounce the cat, and then they get to do their thing. So this should be just like cast Infernal Tutor, get a second LED, LED, Infernal Tutor, double crack LEDs, and then go off using the graveyard. Yeah. My opponent says miscounted badly. I don't think you miscounted badly. I think you still got it. Like Infernal Tutor, crack, crack. 6 mana. Oh no! So it'd be 5 to flash back past In Flames. They don't have the Dark Rituals anymore because I extracted them. I see the problem now. Ah. So can they just empty? Like, if they have an empty, that's perfectly fine. Okay, what did I miss? So the Past in Flames was in hand, not discard, so they could have like went into that with black floating, then Cabal Ritual tendrils me from graveyard. So like they had me. Do they not know their tendrils is in the graveyard? Okay. Alright, so now when I'm on the play, okay, now that I'm on the play, I want the chokes. So I'll probably like trim a Ramunap Excavator. Maybe I trim 2 of them. Like the whole Ghost Quarter Wasteland lock is like a small part of this. I really just want to like stick one of my hate bears. No, I don't think Choke is a great card against Storm. But I think when I can go and play it to supplement the rest of the mana denial plan that I've got going here, I think it's better than Ramunap. Not by a lot, but probably by a little bit. So this is turn 2 Thalia or turn 2 Leonin Arbiter with the ability to play around a Thoughtseize for Thalia. So I'll keep this hand. Note that I will be leading on either Port or Wasteland, because if I lead on Cavern, I can't put it on something that lets me cast both of these. And I think I'm going to lead on the Port. Well, that's fine. Like, now we ignore the Thalias and we just play out Leon and Arbiter. Like, yeah, it's a 1/1, but it's still relatively hateful. If our opponent doesn't have another, like, non-fetch land, I'm in an awesome position. That's not where we're at, but it's okay. So we'll kind of slow things down here. Play some more cats. And then we'll have like Ramunap Wasteland as sort of a long-term way to deny any mana sources that actually make their way into play. Nice. Do I just want to port them? I don't think I need to port them. I think I just want to have another body in play, go and really just like put the screws on their mana long term while also providing a little bit more pressure. And now if like the Karn hits play, then the artifact mana is shut off. And like I even just get to wasteland the polluted delta. Oh, well, not anymore. Oh, it does take 4 to search, you're right. So I guess I should just not play the Karn this turn. And I guess I should do this in their upkeep in case they like end step respond with something like an Echoing Truth. This is brutal. I get to kill a Lotus Petal while also shutting off a Lotus Petal. So like now I just get to wasteland that Underground Sea. Like you have to go off without searching your library or without using artifacts. I don't know how that's going to happen. But there was no shuffle with the Ponder. You're going to add Naz? Alright, I respect it. I do. This is the commitment point, right? Like there's only 4 damage on board right now. If they go any further past this and they reveal something with CMC 2 or greater, they're dead on board and they have to continue to go for a win this turn. But they can't go for a win this turn because like they can't use Lotus Petal or like a Chrome Mox as an initial mana source. So this might be the point where they have to stop. Yep. Good play, good play. All right. So is there anything in the sideboard that I really, really, really want to play? Not really. Oh, I guess Ballista. Like I can just get Ballista for X equals 2 and kill them. All right, killing them is fine. I guess I could also just get the Mycosynth Lattice. But I'll take Ballista. Hey, there we go. Well, we'll kill them now instead of just, like, locking them out of the game. Killing them now seems respectable. Okay, so what did I think about this deck list? This deck list is interesting. It has a lot of potential, but there are some things that I don't like about it. Number 1, if your Karn gets stopped, and that is like if all of them get stopped with something like a Pithing Needle or a Phyrexian Revoker, your ability to actually win the game decreases a lot. Like, if you lose that, then what you have access to win the game is just like this pile of stuff right here. So maybe the deck needs something that can answer something like a Pithing Needle, you know, a Croson Grip, a Disenchant, something of that nature, so that you're not just like 100% locked out of like doing your most degenerate things when you lose access to Karn. Yeah, good games. Like so I had Thalia in hand that you shut off with the Dread of Night there in game 3, but the rest of my hand was just like very, very strong anyway, and you couldn't go off like immediately through it, and that just like let me put the Vice Grip on harder and harder. So like that's complaint 1, is that like if Karn gets shut off, the power of this deck list goes down a lot. Complaint number 2 is that like because you have this wish board, some of your sideboarding numbers are a little bit weird. And like because of that, like sometimes when you want to like pull out something that's bad in a matchup, say Swords to Plowshares, you actually don't have that many things to bring in, or you like lose some of the power of your wish board by sideboarding. Luckily, in most matchups, like I didn't want to pull out very many cards because the overall core is powerful. And yes, the Arbiter triggers do stack. So like when I had 2 in play, you had to pay 4 in order to search, which is like brutal. But I think Bahra was onto something with this general overall shell. Like it felt good. Like we only went 3-2. But, like, I think we could have 4-1'd if I decided to, like, lattice lock someone instead of just, like, trying to play to the board. Like, earlier on, I had the ability to, like, lattice lock someone and then try to use my surgical extractions to make it so that they milled before I did. But I thought that was going to be, like, really slow and boring. And I thought I had it locked up anyway, and I was just wrong. But like if you're playing against combo decks, the ability to like stick Arbiter and Thalia early is pretty good, and having like access to these sideboard cards like in game 1 to get like Tormod's Crypt and such, like that felt pretty good. I did kind of want either a Trinisphere or a Chalice of the Void in the sideboard that I could tutor for. Maybe that's supposed to like come at the cost of like the Fairy or something like that. But otherwise, like this was a fun morning, and I'm relatively happy with that. So I hope you all have enjoyed. I'll probably be back on Monday night streaming some other Legacy deck. If you have something you want to play, feel free to throw a donation deck list my way. And if you enjoy Legacy content, please consider following my channel. I'm usually streaming Legacy 3 days a week, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. I'm going to go ahead and host someone who is playing some mono black Pox, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day.